Hello, I'm Katerina Suprun. Today is November 16th and Militarnyi reports on the Belarusian-Chinese Polonez system. The day before, the Belarusian army received a new Polonez M. According to Military Balance, as of 2023, Belarus has 6 such systems. One complex consists of 4 launchers, a corresponding number of transport and reloading vehicles, a control center, and support vehicles. Each launcher has 8 missiles. Polonez M is an upgraded version of this system. V-200 Polonez is the first version of this weapon. It uses missiles with a range of 50 to 200 kilometers. This system was finalized and the Polonez M was created with a range of 200 to 300 kilometers. The website of the Belarusian manufacturer, the ZTM Precision Electromechanics plant, states that the system uses A-250 and A-300 missiles. Polonez M also has an improved chassis. As for the declared characteristics of the rocket, it has 2 stages. After reaching the highest point, the solid fuel engine separates and the main engine starts to work, accelerating the warhead to 5 Mach. The guidance system is combined with inertial and satellite corrections. A circular deflection of up to 50 meters is possible. It is also claimed that the missile is low visible, which makes it almost impossible to shoot down by air and missile defense systems. However, the same was said about the Russian Kinzhals and Iskanders. Ukrainian air defense has proven the opposite. So, continuing with Polonez, they say that it is possible to launch 8 missiles at 8 different targets in 50 seconds. Azerbaijan is also operating these missile systems. There is information that the Azerbaijani army used these systems during the war in Karabakh, but it is not known whether they confirmed the claimed characteristics. This is important because the real effectiveness of weapons can only be proven in real combat conditions. So, what does China have to do with it? The answer is simple. Lukashenko announced that Belarus wanted to get a missile system back in 2008. However, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, there were no enterprises in Belarus that could complete the full cycle of rocketry. A solution was found in 2010. The Chinese came to the rescue. Elements of the Chinese GAT-SS, General Army Tactical Strike System, complex were used to create the Polonez system, and also the A-250 and A-300 missiles. Belarusian complexes with Chinese missiles were first shown at the May 9 parade in 2015. In June of 2016, the first tests were conducted in the Gomel region. In August of the same year, the Polonez was adopted by the Belarusian army. Belarus considered Ukraine, Russia and China as partners for the creation of the complex. Ukraine could be crossed off the list, since after Russia's attack on Ukraine in 2014 and Ukraine's course toward NATO, any cooperation with Moscow's closest ally, Minsk, was impossible. The Russians obviously do not have much respect for their neighbors, although there was no official information about negotiations or the refusal to cooperate. In addition, later on, the Russians did not allow Belarusians to test-fire missiles at their training grounds. This is how Russian friendship works. So they decided to focus on China. It is known that the Belarusians tried to localize the production of A-250 and A-300 missiles. The degree of readiness of the project is unknown, but there is information that in 2018 work was done to create a launch container, a guided missile, and a control system, namely a navigation device, an autopilot, and steering drives. Research and development work was also underway to create a warhead for various missile modifications. According to Belarusian observers, as soon as the localization began to succeed, the Chinese partners turned on the Oriental tricks. Whatever that means. Presumably, it means limiting the localization of some missile components. At the same time, in 2021, Dmitry Pantus, head of the Belarusian state military industry, said that a Belarusian missile with a range of up to 300 kilometers had finally been created for Polonez. Nothing is known about its testing. Another prospect for the development of Polonez is ballistic missiles, namely the use of the Chinese A-20 missile. This is a medium-range tactical ballistic missile. The weight of the warhead is up to 450 kilograms. For comparison, the weight of the A-300 warhead is 45 kilograms. This version of the missile was demonstrated in Belarus in 2017 at the Milix 2017 exhibition. Its range is also up to 300 kilometers. The Chinese version of the GATS-S has 2 containers for the missile's launcher. We have not seen this version of the Polonez. And we probably won't see it since in February 2023 Belarus began operating Russian Iskander-M and Iskander-K systems. At the same time, the transferred Iskander-Ms include those used by the Russians in the war against Ukraine. A video released by the Belarusian military showed footage of red stars on the system's vehicle, which usually indicate missile launches. And that's not all about Lukashenko's Iskanders. They can be equipped with missiles with a nuclear warhead. In February 2023, Belarusian missile specialists underwent relevant training in Russia. There, they were taught how to operate and store this type of weapon. But let's go back to Polonez. Read more about the nuclear threat from Belarus in our article on Militarnyi. As for the Polonez, in June 2023, Lukashenko said that he had offered Putin, and I quote, to put nuclear weapons in the Polonez. Putin replied on such proposition from the self-proclaimed president of Belarus that it would be easier to supply ready-made systems. In August 2023, the defense intelligence chief of Ukraine, Kirill Budanov, said that the relevant missiles with a nuclear warhead had been delivered to Belarus. But he also added that the information in Russian documents he had in his disposal showed that the Belarusian military was not ready to operate such weapons. But anyway, Lukashenko thus received tactical systems with a nuclear warhead with a range longer than Polonez. The range of the Iskander-M is 500 kilometers. As for the future of the Polonez, it is doubtful. There is no information on the full localization of the complex's production. International markets are closed, and Russia is definitely not going to buy such complexes from Belarus. Lukashenko, as a true post-Soviet leader, can of course pledge the entire territory of Belarus with these systems to support the domestic manufacturer. But the quality of such weapons and their expediency always fade into the background in such cases. Subscribe to Militarnyi, like our videos, and see you in the next ones.